Baratazaka, Haya,
Haya,
Aisha,
Aisha,
Baharataza,
Baharataza,
Kawa,
Kawa,
Haya,
Haya,
Bashamaya,
Bashamaya,
Yatananawa,
Lakam,
Lakam,
Kol,
Yawam,
Yawam,
Wasalak now,
Wasalak now,
Kabawak now,
Kabawak now,
Wasalak now,
Kasalak now,
Kabawak Yanawa,
Kabawak now,
Wala'a,
Wala,
Tabaya Anawa,
Tabai now,
Banasaya one,
Abantayon,
Abal,
Abo,
Hawashai now,
Hawashai now,
Man,
Man,
Rai,
Rai,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Laka,
Laka,
Hamalakwa,
Babalakwa,
Wahat Allah,
Wala Allah,
Wahat Tapa Ara,
Wala Dai Parag,
La Iwalam,
Bailam,
Ba'asham,
Bahashim,
Mashiach,
Mashiach,
Yahushai,
Yahushai,
Tawara,
the water,
Damyad,
Damyad,
Aman.
Aman. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 9. After this manner, therefore, pray ye, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. For if ye forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if ye forgive not men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. Bahashem Mashiach Yahushai, the water tam yad, Amen.
That's Shadrach. You see them? Shabbat Shalom Yasharal.
Shalom, shalom, Israel.
Kan. Bashem Mashiach Yahushai. Toward the Most High, Bashem Mashiach Yahushai for another Shabbat day, when Israel can come together in holy convocation, in accordance to the covenant that the Most High made with our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that Israel through the generations and our locations, we have to come together in this day. Understand, to keep the covenant that we made with the Most High in observance of the Shabbat day. We are the Light of Zion, located out here in South Florida, Fort Lauderdale, 2937 West Broward Boulevard. I am an Elder Bishop Lapalal to my left.
Officer Aliyah.
And we're going to continue in the book of Samuel, the second book of Samuel. Okay, well, Samuel was one of the major prophets during the time of the emergence of David coming into prominence and rulership. Samuel was the last, the last judge, I believe, when Israel had judges before we had kings. No, I didn't know. His sons are also judges. So that was Samuel was a judge in Israel and a prophet in Israel. Before we had kings in Israel, having the wrong spirit in them, chose to emulate the nations run about, and requested that Samuel asked the Most High for permission to have kings ruling over them instead of the judges that the Most High gave to Israel. And reluctantly, Samuel, asked the Most High for that permission. The Most High said, "Go ahead, let him do it." And we know about Saul became the first king, and because of disobedience, the Most High decided to remove Saul out of that position of kingship and discontinue the rulership from Saul's lineage and gave it to David. And wars between Saul and David ensued, till the Most High ultimately had Saul taken out of the way altogether, and then David became the next king of Israel. Okay. So we're now going to continue the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 13.
This is the second book of Samuel, chapter 13, verse 1.
But let's get Colossians 3, verse 17 before we start.
the book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 17. And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of Mashiach Yahushua, giving thanks to God and the Father by him.
Right. Whatever you do in word or deed, do it all in the name of the Most High and the Mashiach Yahushua. According to the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments, and the testimonies of the Mashiach Yahushua. Yeah, when I get a chance, put up, usual, map of Israel with the different territories and the neighboring countries round about, so on. Yeah, like a split screen, something like that. So we can put things in the also geographical perspective.
Let me know when you want it.
Which one? Let me see if we can get a good one. One that gives me, I would say, the one right there on top. Yeah, maybe that.
Any others?
You saw the one, right?
This is right here.
Yeah, got it.
It's loading.
Oh, it's loaded. Okay. Yeah, more up. Yeah. And if necessary, we need another one that we can always go back. But for now, they get that kind of shows me the different travel locations and yeah. Okay.
Can I get 2 pieces of that, please?
You want them to see the maps now?
So okay. So they see the maps and what do you also see us or just the maps?
They'll see you, but it'll be like you'll be small.
All right. Minimize the map. When we need to refer to it, you can always go back to it. There you go. Yeah. 2 Samuel chapter 13, verse 1.
2 Samuel chapter 13 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to pass after this, that Absalom, the son of David, had a fair sister, whose name was Tamar. And Amnon, the son of David, loved her.
Right. And it came to pass after this, that's after David was more or less situated now as king. After we read last week of David violated the Most High's commandments and committed adultery and did wickedness to a high level where not only did he commit adultery with another man's wife, specifically Uriah the Hittite, who was a soldier in the military, in Israel's military, who was fighting for Israel. But he also had Amnon brought to the front line of the battle, which was most heated and eventually killed, as per David's commandment that he gave to Joab, the host of the army. So now, and David, the son that was conceived with Uriah's wife, and it's what was her name again? Uriah's wife. Bathsheba. Right. The Most High had a son killed. Understand? The Most High had a son killed. And I told David of his judgment that would come in the future, which was that what David did was done in secret and in privacy. But the judgment that's going to be brought on David was going to be what? Done in the open, which is going to be unto David's shame. And then after that, David, and Bathsheba became a husband and wife, king and queen, and they conceived. She conceived and brought for her son Solomon. You didn't mention that. The script mentioned that, right? Solomon, I believe. You did mention it, right?
Around 24.
Right. Okay. Good.
In the last chapter.
All right. Okay. Right. Exactly. So now we're in chapter 13. Read verse 1 again of chapter 13.
2 Samuel chapter 13 and verse 1. And it came to pass after this that Absalom the son of David had a fair sister, whose name was Tamar, and Amnon the son of David loved her.
So and it came to pass that after this that Absalom, the son of David, had a fair sister. What is the mention of Absalom, the son of David, had a fair sister? They are, David had many wives. He had different children by their different wives. So Absalom was had a fair sister. Fair means what? Fine. I mean, in our terminology, fair,
Right.
fine, beautiful sister. Because the fair is kind of something. I mean, depending on what generation you're in, fair may mean like, hey, she ain't all that. But fair, as it was used back then, in today's terminology, means fine, beautiful sister, whose name was Tamar. And Amnon, the son of David, loved her. So this Tamar. Okay, so Tamar then is also Amnon's sister. So this Amnon, the son of David, loved his sister. And we know the scripture. We're gonna touch on the laws on that concerning that, because we know what the law says. How you should have intimacy with certain family, those who are near to kin to you, certain family members. Against the commandments of the Most High. Read on, verse 2.
Verse 2. And Amnon was sore vexed that he fell sick for his sister Tamar.
Right, and Amnon was sore vexed. This guy was he was whipped. He was madly in love with his own sister, his sister Tamar. Read.
For she was a virgin.
If she was a virgin, that made him want her even more. Read.
And Amnon thought it hard for him to do anything to her.
And Amnon thought it hard for him to do anything to her. So he knew of the commandments. So he knew of the commandment as his sister, but she was beautiful, and he was attracted to her. But he knew the Most High's commandment that you shouldn't feel this way about your sister or someone who's near kin to you, a close family relative. And that was very bothersome to him. That was very frustrating to him. It was kind of the spirit wrestling against the flesh right there. He knew what the commandment said, but a certain evil spirit was on him. The lustful spirit was on him. It caused him to be attracted to his sister. Read on.
Verse 3. But Amnon had a friend whose name was Jonadab, the son of Shemiah, David's brother. And Jonadab was a very subtle man.
Right. But Amnon had a friend whose name was Jonadab, the son of Shemiah, David's brother. So this Ammon, he had a friend Jonadab, who was the son of David's brother. So Jonadab was the son of David's brother, who was Amnon's uncle. So they were cousins too. Right? You following that? Right. So Amnon and Jonadab were cousins. And I guess they were best of friends. They were good friends. He could confide to his cousin about the way he felt about his own sister. Kind of a real mix-up thing right there. And Jonadab was a very subtle man. But what is subtle mean? Crafty, cunning, sneaky. And I mean, he full of tricks. To do things on the low, without making things obvious. So I guess let's just see what goes on. So from this we kind of get the impression that Amnon himself wasn't able to do anything. I don't know. Maybe he didn't know to go about getting Tamar, his sister, but he knew that Jonadab was able to assist him in that manner. in that endeavor. Read on verse 4.
Verse 4. And he said unto him, Why art thou, being the king's son, lean from day to day?
Right, so Jonadab asked him, Why art thou, being the king's son, lean from day to day? What does that mean, lean? You look down. Maybe you could see like you look depressed or bothered, or something that heavy was on his mind. Read on.
Will thou not tell me?
Yeah, something's bothering you. Or you're gonna tell me what's going on? I know you, man. I know something's on your mind. Tell me what's going on. What's going on? Read on.
And Amnon said unto him, I love Tamar, my brother Absalom's sister.
Right. And Amnon said unto him, I love Tamar, my brother Absalom's sister. So, you notice he didn't say my sister.
Right.
He said Absalom's sister. So, I don't know if he was intentionally trying to distance, psychologically, distancing her from him as far as being kin. Or maybe he was just mentioning that they were different mother. Because Absalom maybe have a different mother than... Right, exactly. Maybe that's what it was. Read on.
Verse 5. And Jonadab said unto him, Lay thee down on thy bed, and make thyself sick.
See that? This guy's slick already. See that? Right, as soon as Amnon told him what the problem was, you gotta plan right away. It's like that. And Jonadab said unto him, Lay thee down on thy bed and make thyself sick. Are you gonna make yourself sick? Pretend to be sick. That's what he was saying. So that was a plan. And let's see how the plan plays out. Read on.
And when thy father cometh to see thee, say unto him, I pray thee, let my sister Tamar come and give me meat, and dress the meat in my sight, that I may see it and eat it at her hand. So Ammon lay down and made himself sick. And when the king was come to see him, Amnon said unto the king, I pray thee, let Tamar my sister come and make a couple of cakes in my sight, that I may eat at her hand. Right.
So Amnon did exactly what his cousin Jonadab, the subtle one, advised him to do. Asked King David to have his sister Tamar come over and make him something good to eat, and that was threatening him. Read on.
Then David sent home to Tamar, saying, Go now to thy brother Amnon's house and dress him meat. So Tamar went to her brother Amnon's house, and he was laid down. And she took flour and kneaded it, and made cakes in his sight, and did bake the cakes. Right.
So David asked Tamar to go over to her brother Amnon's house and prepare the meat for him. Read on.
And she took a pan and poured them out before him, and he refused to eat. And Amnon said, Have out all the men from me. And they went out every man from him.
So he was about to execute the plan. He didn't want to eat right away, and told her to get rid of all the men. So I guess he wanted to be alone with her. Read on.
Verse 10. And Amnon said unto Tamar, Bring the meat into the chamber, that I may eat of thy hand. And Tamar took the cake which she had made, and brought them into the chamber to Amnon her brother. And when she had brought them unto him to eat, he took hold of her, and said unto her, Come lie with me, my sister.
See that? That was the plan. So he had his father send his sister Tamar over to him under pretext that he was sick and needed her to prepare a meal for him. She went and did that, and he had all the men removed from the house, and he was alone with her. And when she brought the food into his chamber, bedroom, he grabbed her in her hand, and I requested that she lie with him. Read on.
Verse 12. And she answered him, Nay, my brother, do not force me, for no such thing ought to be done in Israel. Do not thou this follow.
Right. But she didn't comply. She refused. She said, and she answered him, Nay, my brother, do not force me, for no such thing ought to be done in Israel. Do not thou this folly. So she knew the law also. She knew that was against the Most High's commandments. Okay, so first give me Leviticus chapter 18, verse 9. Let's go to the commandments. Leviticus 18, verse 9.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 18 and verse 9. The nakedness of thy sister.
The nakedness of thy sister, read on.
The daughter of thy father.
The daughter of thy father, that's who Tamar was. Tamar was the daughter of Amnon's father, David. Read.
Or the daughter of thy mother.
Or the daughter of thy mother.
Whether she be born at home.
Whether she was born in the land of Israel
or born abroad.
Or born abroad. It doesn't matter where she was born, as long as she's the daughter of your father or your mother. Read.
Even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover.
Even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover. Which means what? According to Moses' commandment, a man cannot sleep with his sister, whether she's the daughter of his father or the daughter of his mother or both. That's against the commandment of the Most High in the land of Israel. And both Amnon and Tamar was aware of that. Amnon didn't care. His feeling was so much for his sister Tamar that he was willing to break the Most High's commandments. But Tamar, she was very mindful of the law, and and didn't want to go along with the idea. She told him, that's not how we do in Israel. The Most High gives us laws, statutes, and commandments to follow. This is a folly. We can't do that. Such thing ought not to be done in our nation. Because we have commandments to follow which go contrary to what you're asking me to do. You know?
Verse 13. And I, whether shall I cause my shame to go? As for thee, thou shalt be as one of the fools in Israel.
Right. So until that, whither shall I cause my shame to go? Yeah. She'll be disgraced, shamed, and looked down on, and she said furthermore, and as for thee, thou shalt be as one of the fools in Israel. Someone to sleep with his sister, he's going to be like ostracized also, ridiculed. Read on.
Now, therefore, I pray thee, speak unto the king, for he will not withhold me from thee.
First also, remember she said also not only, let me go back to verse 12. And she answered him, Nay, my brother, do not force me. What does it mean? What does she mean by force her? That's rape. She's talking about rape also. Not just sleeping with her voluntarily, but do not force me. Because she wasn't going to voluntarily do that. Because she knows the protocol. Understand?
Right.
That before a man and a woman can come together in Israel, they have to be betrothed. They have to be given. The man has to go to the father. Understand? Ask for permission to get the daughter. Get me Deuteronomy 22, verse 16. You can't just arbitrarily go around the father and go straight to the daughter without the father's permission. That's a violation in Israel. Understand? And you can't just force her as it was in rape. Because she it's just, you can see that she and her father had a good relationship, good rapport. David could have called her and said, go see about your brother. Go and make him something good to eat because he's sick. And she just went right away. So you know the relationship right there was good. The father-daughter relationship. So she was very much in compliance with the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. Read on. Deuteronomy 22:16.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22 and verse 16. And the damsel's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man.
Deuteronomy 22:16?
That's saying
Hold on a second. Let me see.
You want to be surely endowed to be her wife?
Yeah, yeah.
That's also talking about I gave my daughter to this man. So
Deuteronomy 22. That's not what I want. Wait a minute.
22:16. Exodus.
Is it Exodus?
Exodus.
Or maybe it's Exodus. Is it Exodus? Oh, yeah, Exodus.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 22 and verse 16. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed.
Right. The man entice a maid that is not betrothed. You know what? She's not engaged to another man. Read.
And lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. If her father utterly refuse to give her unto him, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins.
Right. So if he enticed her, entice her like encourage her to lie with him, and she's not been engaged to another man, he shall pay dowry. He shall pay dowry to the father, according to what the father requests. I'm trying to look for another one though. Hold on. I think it's 28. Let me see. Exodus. Deuteronomy 22. Uh, 22:28. Deuteronomy 22:28. They give that. Deuteronomy 22:28.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22 and verse 28. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her, and lie with her, and they be found, then the man that lie with her shall give unto
Also, hold on, let me jump up further. Let me see where I want us to start. Right there in Deuteronomy. The same chapter, but further up.
Okay.
Verse 20. She's not betrothed. Verse I was trying to address the part where she was forced.
Oh, forced. Oh, 25.
25, but only she's betrothed in this. Read 25. Let me see what I see.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22 and verse 25. But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die. But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when a man riseth against his neighbor and slayeth him,
right,
even so is this matter.
All right. Go back to verse 28. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed.
Verse 28. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay and hold her, and lie with her, and they be found, then a man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and shall be his wife, because he hath humbled her. He may not put her away all his days. Right.
So he didn't force her on because she went along with it, but she was a virgin, and she was not betrothed. And in the case, the man lay with her, have to give unto the damsel's father and take her as his wife. But if you force her, then you know, he's worthy of death. Let's go back to Samuel.
2 Samuel chapter 13 and verse 13. And I, whether shall I cause my shame to go, as for thee, thou shalt be as one of the fools in Israel. Now, therefore, I pray thee, speak unto the king, for he will not withhold me from thee.
Right. So she wasn't. She didn't say she was objecting to be with him. She just say this is not. We got to follow protocol. This is not the way you go about it. You have to ask. You can't just force me to do it. And I understand you have to talk to the king. And he will not withhold me from you. That's what she was saying to him. Read on.
Verse 14. Howbeit, he would not hearken unto her voice, but being stronger than she, force her and lie with her.
See, this had to be some strong demon that was on this guy. Understand? He was gonna rape his own sister. Because basically that's what he's doing. He forced her. You overpowered her. And I said, of course, the word is going to get back to King David, his father, and even her brother Absalom, and all of Israel. But this demon that was on this guy, because he's not even having a regard for any of that. He just wanted to be with her. Read on.
Then Amnon hated her exceedingly, so that the hatred wherewith he hated her was greater than the love wherewith he had loved her. And Amnon said unto her, Arise, be gone.
Right, so he did that unto her, he violated her, which is a major transgression in Israel, to rape his own sister, to rape anybody, in a woman, but his own sister. And the guilt that was on him now, he knew the guilt that was on him now for the violation, he caused him to hate her, as if he's trying to blame her for what he did to her, for what he did. So now he was angry at her and had hatred for her because he knew that he fulfilled what he wanted to do, but the violation was so severe that he couldn't have a legitimate relationship with her as a man and a wife. And he was mad at her for that. So he angrily sent her away. Read on.
Verse 16. And she said unto him, There is no cause. This evil in sending me away is greater than the other that thou didst unto me. But he would not hearken unto her.
So you humbled her, but she was so, of a humble person. The humility that was on her, was such a point that she was willing to forgive him. She said, "There's no point in sending me away. You just violated me, but now you're putting me away right away. That's even worse than the violation that you just committed." But he wouldn't listen to her. He just said, he insisted and told her, "Get out of here." Read on.
Then he called his servant that ministered unto him and said, Put now this woman out from me, and bolt the door after her. And she had a garment of diverse colors upon her, for with such robes were the king's daughters that were virgins apparel.
Right, see that? Because the king's daughters had to wear a particular garment, the ones who were virgins. Understand? So now she was dressed in such apparel. Read on.
Then his servant brought her out and bolted the door after her.
Kicked her out and bolted the door after her, sent her away. After he violated her in her royal garment. Read on.
And Tamar put ashes on her head, and rent her garment of diverse colors that was on her, and laid her hand on her head, and went on crying.
See that? She denied what happened. She put ashes upon her head. She was lamenting. She ripped up her garment, put ashes upon her head, and went home crying for the violation that her brother just violated her. Read.
Verse 20. And Absalom, her brother, said unto her, Hath Amnon thy brother been with thee? Behold, now.
No, read that again.
Oh, Salakia. Verse 20. And Absalom, her brother, said unto her, Hath Amnon thy brother been with thee? But hold now thy peace, my sister. He is thy brother. Regard not this thing. So Tamar remained desolate in her brother's Absalom's house.
So she went to the brother, Absalom's house, and told him what happened. That Abner violated her. But of course, Absalom was hurt by the whole situation. But I was saying that's your brother. We can't we can't do anything to him. It's like we can't take revenge upon him like that. Even though we know it's an evil act that he committed against you. Regardless, he's a brother, so we have to just basically just bear the violation without any consequences. Let's see if Absalom really pet that way. If he just wanted to wanted to appease Tamar. Read on.
Verse 21. But when King David heard of all these things, he was very wroth.
Can you imagine? They were as mad as hell when he heard that his own son violated his own daughter. A brother violated his sister. He was mad as hell, a version of that. He couldn't believe that happened. And he was mad at Amnon for doing that. Read.
Verse 22. And Absalom spake unto his brother Amnon, neither good nor bad. For Absalom hated Amnon, because he had forced his sister Tamar.
So Absalom didn't even talk to this guy. He didn't talk to his Absalom didn't even talk to Amnon. Because he was mad at Amnon for raping his sister Tamar. Read.
And it came to pass after 2 full years that Absalom had sheep shearers in Baal Hazar, which is beside Ephraim. And Absalom invited all the king's sons. And Absalom came to the king.
And came to pass after 2 years that Absalom had sheep shearers in Baal Hazar, which is beside Ephraim. And Absalom invited all the king's sons. So sheep shearers like getting at the wool of the sheep, sharing the wool of the sheep. Maybe that was like a festivity also that goes along with that. Sheep sharing the wool of the sheep, or wool could be used for clothing and such, and making of apparels and all that. But it seems as if that was an event. So let's see what happens at that. So he invited all his brothers. That's what it says. He invited all the king's sons. Read on.
Verse 24. And Absalom came to the king and said, Behold, now thy servant hath sheep shearers. Let the king, I beseech thee, and his servants go with thy servant. And the king said unto Absalom, Nay, my son, let us not all now go, lest we be chargeable unto thee. And he pressed him. Howbeit, he would not go, but blessed him.
Well, and Absalom came to the king and said, Behold now, thy servant hath sheep shearers. Let the king, I beseech thee, and his servants go with thy servant. And the king said to Absalom, Nay, my son, let us not all now go, lest we be chargeable unto thee. And he pressed him, howbeit he would not go, but blessed him. So Absalom wanted the king and everybody else to all go to the sheep shearing, but David didn't want that. David's what?
Sheep shears? Where they shear the sheep with?
Oh, that looked like some used scissor.
That's not the shear?
That's what shears are. That's what they use.
Right.
They cut the hair off the sheep.
Yeah. Maybe that's what they use. I think they use something something like what the barbers use now, though.
The barbers?
Yeah. I mean, some more modern.
Clippers, like the clippers.
Like actually shares.
Like this?
Actually, yeah, something like that. Yeah, exactly. That's more like it. Yeah, that's what they use now. Some matter that's exactly. Read on verse 26.
Verse 26. Then said Absalom, if not, I pray thee, let my brother Amnon go with us. And the king said unto him, why should he go with thee?
See that? But now Absalom has been crafty. But David is kind of suspicious.
Yeah.
Because David knew that Absalom was mad at Amnon for raping Tamar. So David was kind of suspicious. Since we can't come, David, that was what Absalom was saying. Since we can't come, let Amnon come then. But David was saying, why should Amnon go? David was like, why should Amnon go? Because he knew that Absalom probably up to something. And read on.
Verse 27. But Absalom pressed him that he let Amnon and all the king's sons go with him.
Right, so but Absalom pressed him was keep nagging him, till David eventually gave him this. Okay, let him, all right, okay. I see it's a big deal for you, so I'm gonna send out let my sons go with you. We're family, all the family. So the family events and all the brothers are there. So I guess you can all keep an eye in each other's. So read on.
Verse 28. Now Absalom had commanded his servants, saying, mark ye now when Amnon's heart is merry with wine. And when I say unto you, smite Amnon, then kill him. Fear not. Have not I commanded you? Be courageous and be valiant.
See, that was a setup. Absalom was plotting to kill Amnon to take a revenge for Amnon raping his sister Tamar. So he gave his servants an order to kill Amnon when Amnon was merry and drunken with wine. Read on.
And the servants of Absalom did unto Amnon as Absalom had commanded. Then all the king's sons arose, and every man got him up upon his mule and fled.
Right. All the king's sons arose, and every man got him up upon his mule and fled. So when the other sons saw that Amnon was killed, they all dispersed. They all fled because I guess they thought, hey, maybe we're gonna get killed too. Maybe they didn't realize that it was only Amnon that Absalom was really mad with for what they did to Tamar. Read on.
And it came to pass, while they were in the way, that tidings came to David, saying, Absalom hath slain all the king's sons, and there is not one of them left. Then the king arose and tore his garments, and lay on the earth, and all his servants stood by with their clothes rent. And Jonadab the son of Shemiah, David's brother, answered and said, let not my lords suppose that they have slain all the young men, the king's sons. For Amnon only is dead. For by the appointment of Absalom, this hath been determined from the day that he forced his sister Tamar.
Right, so David was told initially that Absalom had killed all his sons. But David was lamenting, was very in deep distress right there at that point in time. But he later learned that only Amnon was killed by the command, by the order of Absalom for raping his sister Tamar. Read on.
Now, therefore, let not my lord the king take this thing to his heart, to think that all the king's sons are dead, for Amnon only is dead. Mm-hmm. But Absalom fled, and the young man that kept the watch lifted up his eyes, and looked, and behold, there came much people by the way of the hillside behind him. And Jonadab said unto the king, behold, the king's sons come. And thy servant said, it is, so it is.
Right, so Absalom, after killing Amnon, he fled. Read on.
Verse 36. And it came to pass, as soon as he had made an end of speaking, that behold, the king's sons came, and lifted up their voice and wept. And the king also and all his servants wept very sore. But Absalom fled and went to Talmai, and the son of Ahamihud.
Read 37 again.
Verse 37. But Absalom fled.
Right. All of the kings and all the other sons of David, they were weeping and mourning and lamenting the death of their brother Amnon. But Absalom, he fled away. Read on.
And went to Talmai, and the sons of
Now you want to keep saying and his son. Read it again.
Verse 37. But Absalom fled and went to Talmai, and the sons of
And the sons? You see the and there?
No, I see. But Absalom fled and went to
Talmai. Read it.
The sons of Ammihud, king
But
of
Absalom
Geshur,
fled and went to Talmai, the son of Ammihud. Read.
Kahan, king of Geshur. And David mourned for his son every day.
Right, so Absalom fled and went to Talmai, the son of Ammihud, king of Geshur. King of Geshur. Let me see the map. Let me see where Geshur is. So that's where Absalom fled to, from the presence of David after killing his brother Amnon, who had raped his sister. Geshur.
It's not on this one.
So another one. It's not. Don't worry about it.
This one.
It's another country. It's the king of Geshur, so that means it's another country, somewhere out of Israel. Probably a nearby country. I imagine it's a nearby country. Alright, don't worry about it. Okay. It's a nearby country outside of Israel. So I guess it's a country that at least Absalom had a previous communication with, to be comfortable enough to know that he could find refuge from his own father in their territory. I don't know if they were. I would think maybe just they're far away from Israel for him to be safe there. But I don't think maybe necessarily that they had a war going on with Israel, because Israel under David's rulership was on the superpower for the region. So all those nations were paying tribute to David. Read on. Read that out.
That was his grandfather on his mother's side. That was his daughter was the one who married his daughter.
Whose daughter?
The king of Geshur.
Daughter.
Yeah, he was a Moabite, king of Moab. It's a city in Moab.
So she in Moab.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because
So his daughter had married David.
his daughter was a Moabite. That's who married David.
Okay, Geshur.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's in Moab.
It says it's in Ammon.
Huh?
It's next to
Yeah, Ammonite. That's
It's in Ammonite?
so-called Japanese.
It's closer to.
Geshur. Okay, Geshur. Geshur. Oh, so Geshur looks like it looks right. It looks like it's Ammon, right? Yeah. Geshur looks like it's a city in
There's another one.
yeah. Geshur looks like it's a city in Ammon.
70 miles.
Yeah, Absalom flees to Geshur. See, yeah, Geshur was a city in Ammon, Ramoth Gilead, near Ramoth Gilead. Gilead, okay. It looks like it's outside of Ammon though. Absalom flees to Geshur. See that, right?
It's closer to the border.
So it's close to the border of Ammon, Ammonite border. But if they had a king there, that means it's not in Israel though. It's not in Israel if they are the only king. So it must be understand? It can't be in Israel, so but it looks like it's part of Ammon. or somewhere close to Ammon. All right. Huh? What's the
Absalom's mother's father.
Absalom's mother's father?
So you said Gesher, right?
Yeah. Absalom's mother's father.
Yeah, that's where he's from, correct?
You're telling me that?
It's his wife's father.
No, he doesn't mention that.
It's in the root of the
Okay.
It's in the lexicon.
All right. So we can see the Gesher somewhere in at least a territory controlled by the Ammonites. All right. Read on. Go back to
Verse 30. The book of 2 Samuel, chapter 13 and verse 38. And Absalom fled and went to Gesher and was there 3 years.
right. So Absalom was there 3 years hiding from his father. Read on.
And the soul of King David longed to go forth unto Absalom, for he was comforted concerning Amnon, seeing he was dead.
Right. So Absalom fled to Gesher and hid there for 3 years, and David at this point, had gotten over his, his grief for the for the death of his son Amnon, and his anger had subsided. His anger for Absalom had subsided. So now to the point he missed his son. I guess the spirit of the Most High can let him know, hey, Amnon deserved death. Because David himself was wroth when Amnon violated Tamar. So, even though he was upset that his son had died, he understood that it was the will of the Most High that he died. So now his anger had subsided, the anger that he had for Absalom, and he had gotten over his grief for the death of his son Amnon. Chapter 14.
2 Samuel, chapter 14. Now Joab, the son of Zeruiah, perceived
You can take that down.
that the king's heart was toward Absalom. And Joab sent to Tekoa and fetched thence a wise woman, and said unto her, I pray thee, feign thyself to be a mourner, and put on now mourning apparel, and anoint not thyself with oil, but be as a woman that had long time mourned for the dead, and come to the king, and speak on this manner unto him. So Joab put the words in her mouth, and when the woman of Tekoa spake unto the king, she fell on her face to the ground, and did obeisance, and said, Help, O king. And the king said unto her, What aileth thee? And she answered, I am indeed a widow woman, and my husband is dead. And thy handmaid had 2 sons, and thy 2 strove together in the field, and there was none to part them. But the one smote the other and slew him. And behold, the whole family is risen against thine handmaid. And they said, Deliver him that smote his brother, that we may kill him, for the life of his brother whom he slew. And we will destroy the heir also. So they shall quench my coal which is left, and shall not cleave to my husband, neither name nor remainder upon the earth.
Right, so okay, let's kind of, I don't want to read too far into this before I understand the foundation of what's going on here. So Joab, see that David was missing his son. Joab, that's captain of the host of David's army. Okay, he's a valiant man. This is the same man who had killed the captain of the host of Saul's army. Okay, behind David's command, unbeknownst to David. So you know that Joab is very cunning, crafty. He's like our, very manipulative. So we can see he perceived that David was yearning to see his son Absalom. So Joab sent to Tekoa and fetched thence a wise woman. A wise woman, what does that mean? Crafty woman also. Cunning, manipulative woman. And said unto her, I pray thee, feign thyself to be pretend to be in mourning, and put on now mourning apparel, mourning apparel, old garment, ripped up, ashes on your head and all that, pretending to be lamenting for the death of somebody. So she did that and concocted this story about how she had 2 sons and they were striving, and one son killed the other. And now all the family members and so on, people of the city, were now asking her to return the son that had killed the other one. They all came out against her. Verse 7, and behold, the whole family is risen up against that handmaid, and said, deliver him that smote his brother, that we may kill him for the life of his brother whom he slew. And we will destroy the hair also. We kill him and his son that he had, and so they shall quench my coal which is left, and shall not leave to my husband neither name nor remainder upon the earth. Okay, that's where we are now. This woman, at the request of Joab, invented this story to David about how she had 2 sons and one killed the other one, and how family members were requested to have her deliver up the guilty one, the guilty son, for them to take revenge upon him. Read on verse 8.
Verse 8. And the king said unto the woman, go to thine house, and I will give charge concerning thee. And the woman of Tekoa said unto the king, my Adawan, O king, the iniquity be on me and on my father's house, and the king and his throne be guiltless. And the king said, whosoever saith aught unto thee, bring him to me, and he shall not touch thee any more. Then she said, I pray thee, let the king remember the Most High thy power, that wouldest not suffer the revengers of blood to destroy any more, lest they destroy my son. And he said, as the Most High liveth, there shall not one hair on thy sons fall to the earth.
Right, so now David was, he felt for her story, he had compassion on her, and assured her that, hey, go back to your house, don't worry about anything, and all will be well. And no one is going to hurt your son. I'm going to make sure that no one hurts your son. Read on.
Then the woman said, let thy handmaid, I pray thee, speak one word unto my Adawan the king. And he said, say on. And the woman said, wherefore then hast thou thought such a thing against the people of God?
Read on. So now she's reading to David. Then the woman said, let thine handmaid, I pray thee, speak one word unto my lord the king. And he said, say on. Now she said, okay. No, after David reassured her that he wasn't going to kill, no hurt was going to come to her son. Now she went, I guess, reveal to David what's really going on. Read verse 13 again.
Verse 13. And the woman said, wherefore then hast thou thought such a thing against the people of God?
And the woman said, then why then have you thought such a thing against the people of the Most High? Read on.
For the king doeth speak this thing as one which is faulty, and that the king do not fetch home again, and his banished.
Well, for the king doth speak this thing as one which is faulty, in that the king doth not fetch home again, is banished. So she was saying, if you feel that way, how come you didn't send for your son, Absalom, who's banished? How come you didn't send for your son Absalom, who's in another country for 3 years? Read on.
Verse 14.
Because she thought David would been hypocritical or something. She said, you're willing to protect my son based on what I'm telling you. So how come you didn't send for your son and make sure that everything's all right with him. Read on. Verse 14. Let me see what's going on.
Verse 14. For we must needs die, and are as water split on the ground.
Now, therefore, that read on. Report it again.
Verse 14. For we must needs die, and are as water spilt on the ground, which cannot be gathered up again. Neither doeth God respect any person, yet doeth he devise means that his banish be not expelled from him.
Right. So she's saying, we must all die, and our water spill on the ground. We are basically spittled. You know what I mean? We're not counted for much. Neither does the Most High respect in a person. The Most High doesn't show partiality. Yet doth he devise means that his banished be not expelled from him. So, but the Most High has ways in which the banished does not get expelled from him.
This basically what the woman was doing in Matthew 7 verse 5 when Yahweh said, first pick the beam of all of your eye before you pick the beam before you pick the mote out of your brother's eye. So what she was saying that is, you're gonna judge my family in righteousness, but you're doing the same thing to your family.
I don't know if he was actually trying to judge her, because he wasn't being compassionate to her. Which one being compassionate to her?
Yes, but he wasn't being compassionate to his own family because he wants no one to harm her
son, right?
Son.
But
at the same time, he cast out his son.
yeah,
Yes,
right.
She was saying.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. She was saying, you'll be protective of my son, because I guess it was easy for him to do that, to be protective of her son, which was probably the right thing to do. But because it was so close to him, that the situation with Absalom pertained to him, and he had an anger for Absalom at that point. He wasn't being protective of Absalom.
Yeah.
So that's what she was asking. I read on.
Neither doeth God respect any persons, yet doeth he devise means that his banish be not expelled from him.
Right, because we all know that we are cities of refuge in Israel, right? Where but this was not a case. But this was not a case of city of refuge though, because it was city of refuge is for a situation where a person was killed accidentally. But this was a plot. Understand? This was a plot where that Absalom came up with and set up his brother to be killed. Read on.
Verse 15. Now therefore that I come to speak.
Read again.
Verse 15. Now therefore that I am come to speak of this thing unto my Adawan the king, it is because the people have made me afraid, and thy handmaid said, I will now speak unto the king. It may be that the king will perform the request of his handmaid, for the king will hear to deliver his handmaid out of the hand of the man that would destroy me and my son together out of the inheritance of God. Then thine handmaid said, the word of my Adawan the king shall now be comfortable. For as angel of God, so is my Adawan the king, to discern good and bad. Therefore, the Most High thy power will be with thee. Verse 18. Then the kings answered and said unto the woman, hide not from me, I pray thee, the thing that I shall ask thee. And the woman said, let my Adawan the king now speak. And the king said, is not thy hand of Joab with thee in all this?
See, so David was suspicious. David knew that she was she was being manipulative, she being cunning. That she was like some ploy that she coming up with to trick David and you're taking certain course of action and so. And David knew that, he knew the kind of person that Joab was. So he said to her, answer me truthfully, whatever I would ask you. And the king said, is not the hand of Joab with thee in all this? Is not Joab behind all this? Read on.
And the woman answered and said, as thy soul liveth, my Adawan the king, none can turn to the right hand or to the left from out that my Adawan the king hath spoken. For thy servant Joab, he bade me, and he put all these words in the mouth of thine handmaid.
So she admitted it. He said, I can't hide anything from you. You're a man of the Most High. You have the spirit of discernment on you, so you can see all this. So I'm not going to pretend. Yes, Joab is behind all this. He put all the words in my mouth, and I gave me instruction to come to you to deceive you. Read on.
Verse 20. To fetch about this form of speech hath thy servant Joab done this thing. And my Lord is wise, according to the wisdom of the angel of God, to know all things that are in the earth. And the king said unto Joab, behold now, I have done this thing. Go therefore, bring the young man Absalom again.
Right. And the king said unto Joab, behold now, I have done this thing. Go therefore, bring the young man Absalom again. So now David gave Joab, orders to go to bring Absalom to him. So let's see why, So according to what this woman wanted. According to what this woman wanted David to bring Absalom back and forgive him. That's what it seems. Read on.
Verse 22. And Joab fell to the ground on his face and bowed himself and thanked the king. And Joab said, today thy servant knoweth that I have found grace in the sight of my Adawan, O king, in that the king hath fulfilled the request of his servant. So Joab
So Joab fell on his ground and his face and bowed himself and thanked the king. And Joab said, today thy servant know that I have found grace in thy sight. So Joab was basically acknowledging to the king that Joab wanted Absalom to be returned to Israel, and David granted that request. Read on. Because if you see from the verb from verse 1 in chapter 14. Now Joab the son of this is verse 1. I'm going back in chapter 14. Now Joab the son of Zeruiah perceived that the king's heart was toward Absalom. So Joab knew that King David loved Absalom. Okay, let's see what's going on. Let's go back to
23.
Yeah, 23.
Verse 23. So Joab arose and went to Geshur and brought Absalom to Jerusalem. And the king said, let him turn to his own house, and let him not see my face. So Absalom returned to his own house, and saw not the king's face.
Right, so the king brought Absalom back, but the king still didn't want to see him, but because, the king said that even though the king loved his son, this was a very frustrating situation with David. He loved his son, Absalom, as much as he loved his son, Amnon, whom Absalom killed, because Amnon raped his own sister. Amnon raped his own sister, Tamar, who shared the same mother with Absalom. So this was a family situation that was very complicated for David. This was like a lose-lose situation for him. He can't take revenge on his son for killing his other son, for raping his daughter. So that's a predicament that David found himself in. So he was, even though he was happy to know that Absalom was alive, he still didn't want to see him because he had certain, I wouldn't say hatred, but disappointment was there. You know what I mean? For killing his brother and for running away. So there was still tension. Read verse 25.
This is the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 14 and verse 25. But in all Israel there was none to be so much praised as Absalom for his beauty. From the sole of his feet even to the crown of his head, there was no blemish in him.
So this guy was you can say was
Look,
good look, handsome guy. You know what I mean? You remember how they described Saul? Very, very muscular and all that. So Absalom was a very handsome person that that the ladies crave for and all that. Read on.
and when he pulled his head, for it was at every year's end that he pulled it, because the hair was heavy on him. Therefore he pulled it.
What does it mean with the polar hair?
Like he pointed. Is that what it's talking about?
Now, when you pull it, what does it mean? You shave it off? No, pull it means you wouldn't shave it off, but you would basically cut down the end of it, and you wouldn't shave like a part of it. Then let's get I think Ezekiel 44. Ezekiel 44 verse 20.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter.
Yeah, this is pertaining to the priest, but we can get some insight as to what exactly it means that the polar hair. Read on.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 44 and verse 20. Neither shall they shave their heads, nor suffer their locks to grow long.
Right. Neither shall they. So the Most High said about the priests of Israel. Neither shall they shave their heads. And I say you can't cut your hair. You can't shave your head. We know what that means. Nor suffer their locks to grow long. What does it mean? Nor suffer your locks to grow long.
Allow it.
You're right. You can't shave your head, and you can't suffer your locks to grow long. That's why they were saying of the priests. Read on.
Verse 21. Neither shall any priest drink wine.
No, you didn't finish that. Read it again. Verse 20.
Ezekiel chapter 44 and verse 20. Neither shall they shave their heads.
Right. They can't shave their head. Read.
Nor suffer their locks to grow long.
Nor allow their locks to grow long. Read on.
They shall only pull their heads.
They shall only pull their heads. Right. It's telling you what they cannot do. They can't shave their head, and you can't allow it to grow long.
It's like regular cut.
Right. You can only do what? You should only pull it. Right. You can't shave your head like but and you can't allow your locks to grow long, but you can clip the end of it. That's what it means to pull your head. That's what Absalom used to do. He didn't shave his head. But if he wanted to, he could have let it grow long because he was not the priest. But he would pull it. Pull means you cut the end of it. Like you see the locks growing. If the locks are growing too long, you can clip the end of it. Understand? That's what Absalom used to do. Now go back to 2 Samuel.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 14 and verse 26. And when he pulled his head, for it was at every year's end that he pulled it.
Right, every year he would pull his head. And when he pulled his head, for it was at every year's end that he pulled it. Read on.
Because the hair was heavy on him.
Because the hair was heavy on him. So he had so much hair in his head, every year he had to cut it. Pull it, meaning what? Cut the end of it. The tail end of it. That's what polling means. Read on.
Therefore he polled it. He weighed the hair of his head at 200 shekels after the king's weight.
Right. And his hair was so heavy on him, he used to actually weigh. Read on.
I was gonna say that right there shows you that he had locks.
Yeah, he had locks.
Because a regular hair would not weigh that.
Right. He had locks. Absalom had locks. So read further into it, we'll see, we get more insight as to, yeah. So, yeah, he had locks. Read on.
Verse 7. And unto Absalom there were born 3 sons and 1 daughter, whose name was Tamar.
Right, and unto Absalom, he even naming
His
his daughter after his sister. So he loved his sister too. But he didn't love her the way that Amnon loved her. He loved her as a sister. Right, because they shared the same mother and all that. So he was very close to his sister. Read on.
She was a woman of fair countenance.
Yeah, she was a woman of fair countenance. She was also beautiful, just like her auntie, Tamar. Read on.
Verse 28. So Absalom dwelt 2 full years in Jerusalem and saw not the king's face.
So Absalom was away from David for like 5 years. 3 years in Gusha and 2 years back in Jerusalem after Joab went to fetch him. He hadn't seen David in the 2 years that he's been brought back to Jerusalem. Read on.
Verse 29. Therefore Absalom sent for Joab to have sent him to the king.
Right. Therefore Absalom sent for Joab to have sent him to the king. Therefore Absalom sent for Joab to have sent him to the king. Read on.
But he would not come to him. And when he sent again the second time, he would not come.
So Absalom sent for Joab with the intention of sending Joab to his father David to inquire, things were okay. If it's okay for him to go see his pops. But Joab didn't want nothing to do with Absalom at this point. He said he didn't go. Twice he sent for Joab to act as the liaison, in between, but Joab didn't go to Absalom. Read on.
Verse 30. Therefore he said unto his servants, see Joab, field is near mine.
Read it again now.
Verse 30. Therefore he said unto his servants, see Joab.
No, see. Read.
Joab's field is near mine.
See, Joab's field is near mine. He sent for a servant and said, see, Joab's field is near mine. Read.
And he hath barley there.
Right.
And go set it on fire. And Absalom's servants set the field on fire.
So this guy was a man at Joab for the coming to him to make intervention between him and his father. That he said, he sent his servant to set Joab's barley field on fire. Read on.
Then Joab arose and came to Absalom.
No, that got his attention. When I said you didn't want to come, but I brought the feeling that no, you want to come, no, you want to step to me. Okay. Then Joab arose and came to Absalom unto his house. Read on.
Unto his house, and said unto him, wherefore have thy servant set my field on fire?
Why did the servant set my field on fire? Read on.
And Absalom answered Joab, behold, I sent unto thee, saying, come hither, and I may send thee to the king, to say, wherefore I am come from Geshur. It had been good for me to have been there still. Now therefore let me see the king's face, and if there be any iniquity in me, let him kill me.
So Absalom wanted to see the king, wanted to see the king. Why you sent for me if you didn't want me to see you? What was the reason what you sent for me and Geshur? I was in all right in Geshur, and I would have stayed there much longer. So I want to see the king, and I talk to him, and if you give any iniquity in me, then hey, I'm willing to face death. Read on.
So Joab came to the king and told him, and when he had called for Absalom, he came to the king and bowed himself on his face to the ground before the king. And the king kissed Absalom.
So Absalom was brought to the king. So Joab told the king what Absalom said, and they brought Absalom to the king. And he humbled himself to the king. The king embraced him, he kissed him. So we're going to see, it looks like at this point the king had forgiven them, and we're already about to make amends. Right, the brothers here for camp, who's?
Fine.
Yakin and Nazir? Yeah, yeah. You're going to call him? I'll just finish this chapter, and then I'll finish chapter 15. Chapter 15.
This is the second book of Samuel, chapter 15 and verse 1. And it came to pass after this, that Absalom prepared him chariots and horses and 50 men to run before him.
Right, so Absalom prepared him chariots and horses and 50 men to run before him. Read on.
And Absalom rose up early and stood beside the way of the gate. And it was so that when any man that had controversy came to the king for judgment, then Absalom called unto him and said, Of what city art thou? And he said, Thy servant is one of the tribes of Israel. And Absalom said unto him, See, thy matters are good and right, but there is no man deputed of the king to hear thee. And Absalom said, Moreover, Oh, that I were made judge in the land, that every man which hath any suit or cause might come to me, and I would do him justice. And it was so, that when any man came nigh to him to do obeisance, he put forth his hand and took him and kissed him. And on this manner did Absalom to all Israel. They came to the king for judgment. So Absalom stole the hearts of the men of Israel. Verse 7, and it came to pass.
Right, let me just read that. So now it was customary for people to come to the king to have certain disputes settled. So Absalom was mindful of that, so he would intervene. He would intervene. He would make intercession. When such people would come to seek the king advice, and judgment in certain situation, and he would basically make sure he ruled in favor of those people who come to with any issue that they want to have resolved, unknown to the king. I understand he do that unknown to the king, and was ruling in favor of all the people, to the point that he had a good reputation, a good rapport with the people, and the people was hey, you know what they're saying? Destroy their hearts, so give them the right judgment that they want, told them what they wanted to hear, ruling in all their favor. And because of that, he found favor in their eyes. And his reputation spread far and wide throughout Israel that, hey, he's a good guy. This Absalom is a good guy. This is someone, we should support. Read on.
Verse 7, and it came to pass after 40 years that Absalom said unto the king, I pray thee.
It came to pass after 40 years. Read. Read on.
That Absalom said unto the king, I pray thee, let me go and pay my vow which I have vowed unto the Most High in Hebron. For thy servant.
After 40 years, what 40 years is that? Maybe after his 40th birthday. Absalom, because we know that the kings of Israel of the major kingdom, Saul, David, and Solomon, they ruled for 40 years. Okay, so David was still ruling at this point. So Absalom must be let's see what 40 years is talking about. Maybe we see. Maybe it's Absalom's 40th birthday, or because it's coming close to David's 40th year of rulership. And it came to pass, you said again.
Verse 7, and it came to pass after 40 years that Absalom said unto the king, I pray thee, let me go and pay my vow, which I have vowed unto the Most High in Hebron. For thy servant vowed a vow while I abode in Jeshurun in Syria, saying...
Oh, so that's what Geshur was, in Syria. Okay. So Gish was in Syria. Okay. Alright. So the king of Syria. Already on.
saying, If the Lord shall bring me again indeed to Jerusalem, then I will serve the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
And the king said unto him, Go in peace. So he arose and went to Hebron. But Absalom sent spies throughout all the tribes of Israel, saying, As soon as ye hear the sound of the trumpet, then ye shall say, Absalom reigneth in Hebron. And with Absalom went 200 men out of Jerusalem that were called, and they went in their simplicity, and they knew not anything.
Right, so Absalom was up to something right here.
Mm-hmm.
So he sent word to all Israel to have men summoned to him. But these men weren't aware that of his true intention. So these men are, their loyalty to him are based on the reputation which he had built. And they went to see what was going on. Read on.
Verse 12. And Absalom sent for Ahithophel,
Mm-hmm.
the Gilonites, David counselor from his city, even from Gilho, while he offered sacrifices, and the conspiracy was strong, for the people increased continually with Absalom.
Right.
And there came a messenger to David, saying, The hearts of the men of Israel are after Absalom.
Right, so day by day, the people of Israel was gravitating towards Absalom. Even men who were close to David, to the point that word got out to David that the people of Israel, they're in love with Absalom. Read on.
Verse 14. And David said unto all his servants that were with him at Jerusalem, Arise and let us flee, for we shall not else escape from Absalom.
So David at this point was very fearful of Absalom, because the people were so much in Absalom's corner that David, a king of Israel, and it's as if the whole country was now with Absalom. If David was so fearful of Absalom that he was about to flee from his own kingdom, from his own throne, out of fear for Absalom. Read 14 again.
Verse 14. And David said unto all his servants that were with him at Jerusalem, Arise and let us flee, for we shall not else escape from Absalom. Make speed to depart, lest he overtake us suddenly, and bring evil upon us, and smite the city with the edge of the sword. And the king's servant said unto the king, Behold, thy servants are ready to do whatsoever my Adawan the king shall appoint. And the king went forth, and all his household after him. And the king left 10 women, which were concubines, to keep the house.
Right, so David and his servants decided to flee from Absalom. And then the servant says, whatever you want to do, we're ready. So David and his men decided to leave, but they left 10 concubines to keep the house in order while David was away, hiding from Absalom. Read.
So based on this scripture here, because a concubine wife, I thought was wives who were on their own, but this sounds like they were a part of his household.
Yeah, I'm saying a concubine is if a wife's status, but she's he had like a different level. She's a wife, but she's like a different level. You have a wife, but the concubine is a woman also, and the wife. But just like in the case of say Sarah and Hagar, they were both Abraham's wife, but Hagar was of a concubine status. Just like with Leah and Rachel, the handmaids were also Jacob's wives, but they were a different status. They were concubines. Understand? Even though technically they're all wives. Understand? But depending on the status. Understand? And the status basically the status somehow refer to like the status of one woman to another woman in David's she could be a woman that's subservient to another woman who was a wife of David. Understand? So he left these 10 women back to run the house. You could see as concubines. More than likely, he would have brought the woman who was closest to him and rode with him. You understand? So that's why he left the concubines, and you see these women is loyal to him. But you could even argue that they were expendable. Remember also when Jacob was leaving Laban, and Esau and with his brother Esau, I would arrange the people to meet Esau. He would put the ones who were least favorable in his sight and more expendable. Meanwhile, if you lose them, it's a loss, but not such a big a loss as it was to lose the ones who were closest to him. So you know what I mean. So you put the ones who were less favorable in his sight, more exposed to the danger, in that layer. You know what I'm saying? So David right there, he would left the ones who are less favorable to him, which I guess the women have less status to him, of lesser stature than the wives who were held in more higher esteem. So that's where the concubine is, a wife who is of a lesser stature than other wives who are held in more higher esteem. Just like with Solomon had what? 700 wives and 300 concubines, right? So the 700 wives were, I guess, the ones who were more of a higher stature. Understand? The 300 were, they were all his wives technically, because a wife is what? Someone who you're in a relationship with, in a committed basis. Understand? But all the wives were not on the same level. Understand? Because some of the wives that Solomon had were like daughters of kings of other nations and all that. You know what I'm saying? And some of the other women, but some of the women were like, they were like servants in some of those other women's household. But he dealt with both of them. But you know what I'm saying? The wives, like and other women in it, you know, also. You know what I'm saying? They were all under David's under the man's rulership, authority. So that's what a concubine is. A concubine, a concubine could be in a nationality, because previously we were taught that a concubine was a wife of another nationality. That's not the case. That's not the case. A concubine could be an Israelite woman. Only she's not of the stature. She's of a lower stature than other women. Understand? A concubine, you know what I'm saying? Conversely, a wife could be a woman of another nation. For example, a woman of who's the daughter, a daughter of another prominent nation. More than she wouldn't be regarded as a concubine. She's a wife. Understand? So remember that was in the case of Solomon. You know, the wives and concubines that drew him from the Most High. So, you know what I'm saying? Because they were of other nationalities. All right, let's go back to this. Let's wrap this up.
All right. I'm going to go to verse 16 with the concubines.
You go back to it, yeah.
2 Samuel chapter 15 and verse 16. And the king went forth, and all his household after him, and the king left 10 women which were concubines to the house. And the king went forth
to keep the house.
To keep the house.
Yeah.
And the king went forth, and all the people after him, and tarried in a place that was far off.
So the king fled away from Absalom, and stayed in a place that was far away from Jerusalem. Read on.
And all his servants passed on beside him, and all the Cherethites, and all the Pelethites, and all the Gittites, 600 men which came after him from Gath, passed on before.
So the king had many friends of other nations too. So all these men were different, were men of other cities that were loyal to David. Read on.
Verse 19. Then said the king to Attiah, the Gittite, wherefore goest thou also with us? Return to thy place and abide with thee, the king, for thou art a stranger and also an exile.
Right. So see, so this Gittite, the Gittites were men of other cities, another city, but they were loyal to David. David said, you know, don't get involved in this. Go back to your city. I mean, because you're a stranger and an exile. So we don't want to get caught up in this situation. Read on.
Verse 20. Whereas thou camest but yesterday, should I this day make thee go up and down with us, seeing I go whither I may, return thou, and take back thy brethren. Mercy and truth be with thee. And Attai also answered the king and said, as the Most High liveth, and as my Adawan the king liveth, surely is what place my Adawan the king shall be, whether in death or life, even there also will thy servant be.
Right, so I guess he's having his roof moment. Where they don't go, it's how it go. That's why he's in the day. We haven't reached Ruth yet, but yeah. So he was saying, well, you know, I mean, I'm going to say loyal to David. I know I'm of another nation, but you know, you're a good man, so I'm going to say loyal to you regardless of where you go. My life means nothing to me. Read on.
And David said to Attai, go and pass over. And Attai the Gittite passed over, and all his men and all the little ones that were with him. And all the country wept with a loud voice, and all the people passed over. The king also himself passed over the brook Kidron, and all the people passed over toward the way of the wilderness. And lo, Zadok also and all the Levites were with him, bearing the ark of the covenant of the Most High. And they set down the ark of the Most High. And Abiathar went up until all the people had done passing out of the city.
Read it again, and Abiathar.
And Abiathar went up until all the people had gone passing out of the city. Had done passing out of the city.
Right, so all the people that were with David passed over the brook, and Abiathar and all the Levites with the Ark of the Covenant was there until all the people passed over the city, passed out of the city. Read on.
And the king said unto Zadok, carry back the ark of the Most High into the city. If I shall find favor in the eyes of the Most High, he shall bring me again and show me both it and his habitation. And if he thus say, I have no delight in thee, behold, here am I. Let him do to me as seemeth good unto him. And the king said also unto Zadok, the priest, art thou not a seer? Return into the city in peace, and your two sons with you, Ahimaaz, thy son, and Jonathan, the son of Abiathar.
Right, so David told them, bring the ark back to the city. If the Most High finds favor in my sight, if the Most High finds favor with me, he'll bring me back to Jerusalem. Okay? So David told Abiathar to go back, told Zadok to go back to the city, bring the Ark of the Covenant back. Read on.
Verse 28. I will tarry in the plain of the wilderness until there come word from you to certify me. Zadok, therefore, and Abiathar carried the ark of the Most High again to Jerusalem, and they tarried there. And David went up by the ascent of Mount Olivet, and wept as he went up, and had his head covered, and he went barefoot. And all the people that was with him covered every man his head, and they went up, weeping as they went up.
Right, so they were languishing, they were crying, and weeping and mourning, man, because of what had transpired. How David, men of such prominence, who done so much good in Israel, was now at this point of fleeing from his leaving his throne and the kingdom and the rulership of the country, running from his own son. Read on.
Verse 31. And one told David, saying, Ahithophel is among the conspirators with Absalom. And David said, O Lord, I pray thee, turn thy counsel of Ahithophel into foolishness. And it came to pass that when David was come to the top of the mount where he worshipped the Most High, behold, Hushai the Archite came to meet him with his coat rent and earth upon his head. Unto whom David said, If thou passest on with me, then thou shalt be a burden unto me. But if thou return to the city and say unto Absalom, I will be thy servant, O king, as I have been thy father's servant hitherto, so will I now also be thy servant. Then mayest thou for me defeat the counsel of Ahithophel.
Right, so David don't want to plant a mole, in Absalom's counsel. So this guy, David said, I don't want you, I know you're good man, you're my counselor and all that, but I want you to go back to Absalom and pretend to be done with him. Understand? Be a spy for me among Absalom's counsel. And just like one bad apple and spoil a whole bunch of good. Give them just throw them off with a bad advice. That's what David want to basically want him to infiltrate Absalom's counsel and create chaos, which would be detrimental to Absalom. Read on.
Verse 35. And hast thou not there with thee Zadok and Abiathar the priests? Therefore it shall be that what things soever thou shalt hear out of the king's house, thou shalt tell it to Zadok and Abiathar the priests.
Right. So Abiathar and Zadok were there because they're going back with the Ark of the Covenant. So David was telling now what's his name? Let me get his name right. Give the Hushai, the Archite. Yeah. So now go back and be like a mole in Absalom's counsel, and whatever you see going on, whatever you hear, make sure you convey that message or that information to Zadok and Abiathar, the priest. Read on.
Verse 36. Behold, they have there with them their two sons, Emaz, Zadok's son, and Jonathan, Abiathar's son. And by them ye shall send unto me everything that ye can hear. And Hushai,
Read 30 again. 37.
37. So Hushai, David's friend, came into the city, and Absalom came into Jerusalem.
Right. So David told Hushai to go back to Absalom and pretend to be loyal to Absalom, and basically act as a spy. Whatever he hears going on, whatever information he can get from what's going on with Absalom, he would convey that information to Zadok and Abiathar, and their sons would now convey that such intelligence to me, so I can know what's going on in the palace. Okay, so we're gonna conclude today's lesson at the end of chapter 15. We're gonna most likely be convening again next week with chapter 16. So the brothers, I guess, maybe have time to go to camp for a certain period of time. So with that, I'm gonna say, Amadim Wapanya, Yerushalayim, stand to face Jerusalem. Psalms 133. Shayar,
Shayar,
Hama Ailwa,
Hama Aiwa,
Ladawad,
Ladawad,
Ana,
Ana,
Ma,
Ma,
Tawab,
Tawab,
Wama,
Wama,
Naayam,
Naayam,
Shabbat,
Shabbat,
Akyam,
Akyam,
Gam,
Gam,
Yakad,
Yakad,
Kashaman,
Kashaman,
Atawab,
Atawab,
Ail, Araash,
Araash,
Yarad,
Yarad,
Ail, Azakwan,
Azakwan,
Zakwan, Aharan,
Aharan,
Shayarad,
Shayarad,
Ail, Paya,
Paya,
Madawakyawa,
Madawakyawa,
Katal,
Katal,
Karamwan,
Karamwan,
Shayarad,
Shayarad,
Ail, Ararya,
Ararya,
Tazayawan,
Tazawan,
Paya,
Paya,
Sham,
Sham,
Tazawa,
Tazawa,
Yahawa,
Yahawa,
Abaraka,
Abaraka,
Kayawam,
Kayawam,
Ai, Awalam,
Ayalam,
Bahasham,
Bahasham,
Hamashiach,
Hamashiach,
Yahushai,
Yahushai,
Awara,
the water,
Aman.
Aman. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 133. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Most High commanded the blessings, even life forevermore. Bahashem Amashiach Yahushai, the water from Yad, Man. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
The water Yasharal about Shamash Gawashai, to what all Israelites logging in, live stream, YouTube, conference calls, by whatever means, whatever medium. Our praise the Most High by Shamash Gawashai. Don't forget tomorrow, Most High willing, we'll have the Hebrew class at 11 a.m. Eastern. And 12 o'clock, we'll have a continuation of the Shabbat service. About Shamash.